Welcome to Plus One EXP. I'm Sarah. I'm your real life stepdad and a cult leader here at Plus One. We are a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. The dream and hope here at Plus One is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. Today, we are here playing Defy the Gods, which is wonderful and good. This is our second session. 2 weeks ago, we had our world building session. You can find that here on Twitch, or you can go check it out on our YouTube if you want to get caught up on all the weird particulars of this city that we've created. You can also
good.
It's real good, y'all. I would try to describe it, but I would fail. So go do yourself a service. Check that out. Also, the link at the bottom right, the ttrpg.link/DefyTheGods will take you to the Kickstarter, correct?
Yes.
Yes, because this game is in fact currently kickstarting. We are going to go ahead and go around and talk about the other people on the screen, but we're going to start with Chrys. Chrys, tell the people who you are and a little bit more about Defy the Gods.
Sure, yeah. My name's Chrys, pronounced they, she, and I run a tiny company that's really just me called Hectic Electron Games. And my first game was Raccoon Sky Pirates, and now I'm kickstarting a very different game about, it's a queer sword and sorcery adventure romance set in fantasy ancient Mesopotamia called Defy the Gods. And I'm just really excited about the world we built and the characters you all built and how to thoroughly fuck with them.
Yes. We'll go ahead and go around. The other two faces should be familiar to folks here at Plus One, but Richard, how about you tell the people who you are?
Hey, I'm Richard Duane, and I also run a small RPG company, like my friend Chris Sellers. Mine is called R Rook Studios. And it has as many employees as Hectic Electron does. One. I am the ops manager for a slightly less small RPG company called Plus One EXP, where I also do some editing and publish some stuff because I can shove things right at the publisher EIC pretty much anytime. And yeah, that's me.
We had to just write a rule that owners are not allowed to just approve their own projects for fun going forward.
I have to get approval from Sarah for all that.
It's true.
That's right. My name is Tony Vicente. I'm Chief Alchemist at Plus One EXP, which is a slightly I almost said the whole thing again, which is a slightly larger publication company. But we used to do a lot of actual plays. We're doing a lot in this couple of weeks. We actually had our first scheduling conflict in a year this week.
I know, incredible.
And so,
who are we?
I'm super excited to play Defy the Gods. By the way, if you want to check out something we're up to, head over to wanderingblades.com and check out Daniel Guan's Wuxia RPG over there. It's funded, but it's not why you're here this time. Maybe in the future. I'm super excited to play with some bone money. That's the thing I came here to do.
Yeah. All right, and with that, all of the players are introduced. Chrys, why don't you whisk us away to Defy the Gods?
Right on. Yeah. All right. We are on an island, a mountainous island, in a city where it is always night. And in this city, you all live in the poor neighborhood that has, some metaphorical bright spots, at least, one of which is the local brothel. It's a mainstay of the community. Unbeknownst to you all, certain ruling jerks on the council that rules this city, called the High Cacophony, have just changed the ownership of the brothel from one of them to the other, and it's rather arcane how decisions get made by the High Cacophony, because they're always just talking, and it's really down to the interpreter to write down just sort of cherry pick things from the conversation and write down an actual law based on it. But the law that came from that conversation, which the law said that one of these council members, Bardumu, has ownership of the brothel for now, but that whoever ends up with ownership of it permanently will be up to the first person to catch the light from the divine parade, the parade of mirrors that is coming up not too long from now. And yet this law has not been read out as an edict in the square. It is written on a scroll that is in the hands of Bardumu. And so how it actually gets enforced or whether anybody actually knows about it is up to him.
If I recall
Yeah.
correctly, I think Bardumu, and Richard might remember this better than me, does Bardumu want to relocate the brothel also too? Because it's a the poorer sections of the neighborhood are temporary. I think he wants it closer to his seat of power.
Yeah, I thought there was
Right.
also like a ploy. He's trying to get Callum for some reason. Like it was sort of like we're doing a really over elaborate trap.
Right, because Callum took Bardumu's son or child to see where that child died, and Bardumu has never forgiven Callum for that. Not because Bardumu cared about their kid that much, but because all the money in this city is ground from, is sort of carved from the bones of the aristocrats who ruled this city. And if you don't have a kid, your line ends and the value of your bones goes way down. And the bones were never recovered because it was death at sea. So
yeah,
it's just really bad. There's a bug carved on every bone coin that is official currency of this city, because Bao is the god of commerce, searing knowledge, augury, and insects. And anytime there's a fly on the wall, Bao hears what's going on. And anytime money is changes hands, Bao knows what's happening in that transaction. The other two gods ruling this, or that we made so far anyway, are Nuska, who is the patron of the parade, the brief literal bright spot in the city because of all the light reflecting off the mirrors on the floats in the parade, and Shara, the goddess or god of sex, who is really popular at the brothel for understandable reasons. So I won't go into all the backstory because there's a whole other episode that was really a lot of fun to do, and people should watch it. But you all are, we'll start with you all like hanging out. We can even say in the front room of the brothel, where just a popular hangout. You know, you don't have to go there to have sex. You could just have a drink.
It's also a coffee shop. That is another.
That's right. That's right.
Brothel coffee shops.
That's right. It's also a coffee shop. And there is a, I think, Callum, you are most likely to know this person, a member of the Smugglers Guild, who approaches you. He's got their little coffee with them, and Callum, mind if I sit down?
I use my foot to pull a chair over.
Yeah. Great. Look, I have a secret. I've got a thing. I'm trying to move it. It's actually really valuable, really hot. I came to you first because you're a friend, but I know as soon as I put the word out there, people are going to want this. So I thought I'd come to you first. I've got a thing that I have on very good authority that it comes from beyond the river of forgetfulness.
Beyond the river of forgetfulness.
That's right. That's right. This is a valuable artifact made by the gods at the beginning of, and it's who knows what the actual value of this might be. Priests of the temples might want it. Some really rich person might want it, and I'm willing to sell it to you, Callum, for very, very low price.
A very low price.
Yes.
You're going to sell it to me. A treasure crafted by the gods from beyond the rivers of forgetfulness.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you say it like that, you make it sound fishy. Like
I thought the rivers
something
of
fishy's going on.
flowed
Yeah.
through the rooms upstairs where we went to forget our problems.
Well, sure. Yes. Small R river of forgetfulness. Yes. But out on the mainland, beyond the grasslands, there is a river, a big R river of forgetfulness, and there are stories about what's past that, but obviously a lot of them people don't remember. But
so you did not cover this yourself?
No, I did not. I have a contact in a city from the mainland who brought it here, who unfortunately is no longer with us, this contact, but with their dying breath, they entrusted this small brass container to me. And I would not ordinarily part with this for the world, Callum, but times are tight. I'm really short on bone coins, and I needs must. I've got to part with it with great sadness.
Well, first, let me buy you coffee.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
I think I gesture one of the baristas over.
They come right over. Yes.
And point towards my empty cup and an empty spot in front of what is the smuggler's name again?
The smuggler's name is Lanu.
In front of Lanu, and say, and give a very, very winning smile and say, you are, I know you are so busy, but my cup is empty and Lanu has no cup. And I would not impose, except it is very traditional to drink coffee while discussing important business before times of recreation.
Yes, right away.
Sure.
They run off.
It's going to be important business. I say as they run off to Lanu.
So Lanu says yes. So look, I'm gonna pull it out here and just prepare yourself. And it's like a little brass jar, maybe like 4 inches high, just a little round thing, and it's it's like it's just got like a little lid that just sort of sits on top, and it looks like almost nothing.
I am prepared. I assume you have more to tell me. I apologize. The city of Philadelphia wanted to say hi to our stream.
What up, Philly?
I assume that I am going to be very amazed and surprised at some point, any moment now.
It's amazing. Look, crafted by the gods at the beginning of the world.
When they were
Honest.
beginning to learn to craft things.
Yes. Right. Okay. Look, it's. I can't explain how I know that it's crafted by the gods, but it is. Look,
Which god
and
did the crafting?
sorry, what?
Which god did the crafting?
I'm
I say looking
not
around
sure.
for flies on the wall.
Look, I don't know. I don't know which god. But doesn't it look just okay? Look, I will open it briefly, just for a moment, and he lifts off the lid, which is connected by a little hinge, and music starts to play, start to flow out of it. First, a little harp, and over top of that, a flute. And then there's this voice that is sad and knowing and full of experiences that they wouldn't trade for the world. And it calls to mind experiences of your own. I'm not sure what they are, and you can tell me if you want, but yeah.
Are there mechanisms on this box? That is my question to you, Chrys, not.
No, not that you can see. Inside, it at first just looks like a 4-inch deep brass hole, but then water starts to well up in it, and it just keeps welling up, and then it starts to spill up the sides, and the music is getting louder, the singing is getting louder, and then really hurriedly he just puts the lid back on, and the water kind of splooshes a little and stops, and then the singing and the music cut out immediately. It's like, okay, I'm just going to put this on the table between us, and looks over it at the other two of you there and says, just don't tell anybody about this, okay? Maybe, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't made by the gods. If it is not, I hate to think who would have made it, or who could have gone all the way past the steppe and past the river to lands that, as far as I know, only the gods tread. But
I reach out very, very hesitantly and brush my hands along the edge of the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I bump your elbow so you touch it more than you intended to.
And you see like a trickle of a tear just sort of well at the edge of Callum's eye. And it's just, where did you really find it?
Okay, there was a dead guy in the tunnels under the city. I don't know his name, but he was wearing a costume that I saw on the mainland once. Not from around here. So look, I'm out of money. I need to come up with some money, and frankly, nobody will touch this thing. You're the fifth person I've come to. Well, I mean,
why would they not touch it?
You touched
I
it.
mean, figuratively, they won't take it off of me for love or bone coins. So,
What do you need?
20 coin. I got to get out of the city. The night is killing me. I need passage off of this island, and 20 coins seems to be the going rate.
What kind of coin do we have right now?
Bone coins. Carved
Yeah,
from,
no. Sorry, like
oh,
in terms of
How
like,
much?
how much?
You've got like a couple.
Okay.
Enough for coffee.
Enough for coffee. That's right. Enough to sleep somewhere where they don't charge rent.
Or maybe someplace they charge by the hour.
Also that, yes.
But not enough for 20.
No, between you all, you've got a half a dozen.
Then the 20 is dear.
Yeah, it's true. But you're a sailor. You must know people who can get me off this rock, right? Your own ship, unfortunately, having been impounded some weeks back. So I'm sorry that you can't take them yourself.
If I can get you off this, may I?
Sure, by all means. What?
May I have it if I can get you safely to the mainland?
Yes,
Or
absolutely.
safely aboard a ship to the mainland?
Yeah, yes. As soon as I board the ship, you can have it. I don't plan to ever return.
No, never return. That is
well, it's the nighttime. It's a little bit too much night, frankly. I just want to see the sun again. You know what they call the land of the dead? The sunless lands. I gotta tell you, that's just feeling a lot like here lately.
How long will you give me?
I'll give you till the Divine Parade in what? A week?
That's generous of you. I know you are desperate.
Well, I'll be honest.
So,
If
go ahead.
they're coming to us, maybe their options are pretty limited. So.
So while this conversation has been going on, Dumu has just like reached out and taken a little bit of dirt just out of the fold of their like dark robe, and it's just like placed a little circle around the
artifact
like of this like crumbled dust, and then you watch as he like takes trying to think. Are you? So my character has to have wounds in order to do a thing. Are we okay with mildly narrated self harm for narrative purposes, or do we want to? It'll be veiled. It won't be. Explicit.
I think we're good with that.
Yeah,
cool.
We're good.
And draws a little blood with a piece of a sharp rock dagger. And is it I want to use view from on high.
Amazing.
Excellent.
On this article, on this artifact. I think it makes a lot of good sense. I think it'll give us a good jumping off point too. To read the move out loud, this is one of my character's moves is the vessel. The move says when you want to see the world through your patron's eyes, invoke a wounded epithet, which you can wound yourself in order to do that. So I will have now wounded the epithet I'm using. You gain their exalted perspective and briefly know what they know. I'll read the the result of the roll rather than reading through everything. But there's 3 different options: glowing success, burning success, and if I have a miss. The epithets I have, because we have pick which one we're going to use, correct? Are
right.
who only submits to whom they choose, which I do not think is applicable. I think I have 2 that are applicable, though. Who sees from a god's perspective, I think is very spot on, like as far as the overall description. But I think what matches what I'm trying to do more accurately is who transmits a message from the beyond, which is the one I would like to use. If the GM agrees, does that sound all right with you?
Yes,
cool.
Absolutely, go for it.
Because I am specifically trying to find a thing I can share about what the hell we know about this. My patron may know about this thing, with everyone. So, it is wounded, which would normally lower it. However, when you are the vessel, you always roll with the full value of that. So I'll be rolling with 1 on this.
Great.
And a way to Google to roll that. That's a 9 plus 1. So that's that is the top of normal success, correct?
Excellent. Yes,
Excellent.
correct.
I was like, that doesn't put me over into immediately burning or whatever. Cool, great.
Not yet. No. No.
Awesome. So we have that on a glowing success, which is what I got. You descend, still holding a scrap of immortal knowledge. Ask the GM 1 from the list below. What does the future hold if we stay on this path? How can we change the future, if at all? What does my patron know about X? What advantage can we gain over the threat we face? And what does my patron fear here? I do think what does my patron know about this item is probably the most helpful thing. So I am aligned with Igdama, the Liege of Secret Tunnels, is my. So I'm looking for a secret about this this item.
Okay. So you go into a trance, and Sai and Callum, you see Dumu do this, and it's like the sprinkling of the dirt, the eyes rolling back. You're very familiar with this. It's like, oh yeah, there they go again. And you, Dumu, are briefly in the presence of Igdama, this exiled god who's not in the pantheon. And Igdama, and I think that you are in fact like in a cave, and Igdama says to you, so you want to see? All right, you can see, and you catch just snippets of Igdama's memories, where there is a where I want to say all the gods came together and made this thing that it really was made by the gods, but it was made before the time of human beings, of mortals. That it was made as a gift for the Atlanteans. And when it came time to destroy the Atlanteans, this thing was placed beyond mortal reach and was placed there because the world no longer seemed to hold the same promise that the gods had for it. The Igdama at that point was in good with the gods.
I was going to be one of my follow-up questions, because that's how Igdama is going to view everything time.
Right, totally. But this is, I'm going to revise a little bit what I said, that it was not placed beyond the river, that it was hidden by Igdama underground. The gods gave it to Igdama to hide, and so it's not a secret kept from them, but it is one of the many secrets that Igdama has hidden in the earth. And then so Igdama sees this thing in your mind's eye and says, wow, you can't hold on to anything anymore. That's, you try to keep something secret and you people just keep digging it up. But you know what, Dumu, if any mortal should find this thing, I'm glad it's you. But for God's sake, keep people from, you wouldn't say for God's sake, for my sake, keep people from opening it, please. Just don't let anybody open this jar. It's not meant to be opened anymore.
I think
he will say that opening it just leads to it makes a river flow that should not be flowing anymore. Let's say that.
Yeah, I think I think this happens kind of in the background of some of that conversation. And did it got opened a second ago, right?
It did. It
yeah.
did. Yeah.
I think Igdama snaps, or thinks Dumu stops back in, like right shortly after it's been closed. Was like, and we should not open that. But it is as he says, made by the gods.
So what do you think of this?
I think she's kind of watching this, like she's watching how Callum's interacting with the smuggler and kind of trying to like ascertain, like, is this a normal exchange? Like, you know, like I think she's trying to relearn social norms as she's like watching this, and has a lot of questions. So I think she's watching this and like with a furrowed brow the whole time. And then Dumu kind of comes over with this dirt and starts doing, you know, stuff like that. And so she's kind of quietly observing. When the artifact begins to like sing and bubble, I think she gets very excited. But I also think like ultimately, and she would kind of express this opinion to the group once Callum's sort of like made the barter of, you know, trying to help this person get off the island, is perhaps we can use this to our own purposes. It seems valuable, at least shiny even.
Did you hear the music it played?
Is that what that's called? Music?
So, Sai, I want to say that hearing the music gave you a memory from your past life.
Ooh, love it. Very cool.
What was it? You don't have to answer now if you can't think, but
I think it gave her a memory of like being in the city. And like it was night and she was in an alley somewhere and it was lightly raining and she was just enjoying a nice cigarette. Like it was just like this really picturesque moment where she's kind of like tucked up in a like underneath a beam of sort, you know, just kind of slightly out of the rain. It's a little cool, but not so much. And she's like just having a moment of feeling very alive. And like at peace in that moment, which is kind of confusing now to current Sai, because it's like she's not felt that sort of like self since resurrecting. So it's like on one hand, like, oh, that was kind of nice, but it leaves her with this little bit of a hollow feeling. Like, how much has she really forgotten?
Yeah. And I want to say that just the shadows of people, other people who were in your life at the time, flit about that memory.
Yeah.
And yeah, that must have been on your mind back then, but God knows who those people are now, you know, and who
Yeah.
they are to you.
Yeah. I love it.
So Lanu looks at you, Callum, and it's like, so do we have a deal?
I will make the
Give me 20
arrangements.
points for this? Okay,
Yeah.
arrangements. Okay, good.
Divine parade.
Okay, great, great.
Then there is no loss to you.
Fantastic. Okay, he just puts it back inside his
I
tunic.
flinch visibly, also as if I'm almost ready to, like, weep and lunge across the table, but I keep it together.
Yeah, Lanu may not have any memories of past sadness or life. Like, I don't know. Lanu seems unaffected by touching it. So maybe just not the deepest person.
I think Sai is gonna kind of look around to Dumu and say, "Are we'll talk about it later," because like almost like this, like I don't want him to like. Should he be taking it? I know that I maybe shouldn't bring it up right now. We'll talk about it later.
So, okay, cool. So Lanu walks off, and I want to say, Sai, have you made any new friends besides these two since resurrecting?
I think there's probably like a couple people either like at the coffee shop or like in the nearby area. Not many, like maybe one or two that I've kind of like stumbled into, and they've thought like they've taken me under their wing in sort of like an endearing way. Like in my mind, it could be like one of the baristas here, or like even like a manager of some type.
Yeah.
Or like one of the kids that lives in the neighborhood just kind of found this like adult stumbling around and felt very important that he or she knew more than this adult.
I love that.
I think that's very fun.
Okay, awesome. I'm not gonna do anything with that right now, but
Perfect.
that's great. All right, so what do you all do?
So I'm not here to tell you your business, but I feel, and I don't have any past experience to draw upon for this, but I feel like when somebody says it's really important that we should have it and no one should open it, and then we let the person who's trying to actively get rid of it and is opening it leave with the item, I'm just confused on what, like, should we have done that, or
I made an arrangement for something he wants, and having made that arrangement, the only other chance would be to perform a crime in the presence of great beauty.
so if there were no beauty, then
That would
time?
be an arrangement.
No arrangement. So like if we're
Why would I take that if it was not exquisitely beautiful?
But you did cry about it. I just feel I'm missing a lot of,
because of the beauty. The beauty made me weep.
but not enough to want. Like I feel the kid taught me like a rock paper scissors game, and I feel like this is like beauty, crime, arrangement. I'm just trying to figure out the interactions between the three of them.
Alan, who weeps for beauty.
Okay.
Is that your epithet?
Yes.
Dumu or Sai's gonna look at Dumu, and it's but you're cool with the jar going away.
Preferably not, but they don't seem inclined to reveal it too broadly. Would you like me to get it back?
I'm fine with, like, you guys know more about these things than I do currently. I can't help but feel.
I mean, it was Igdama's charge to hide it. I suppose it would not be bad to hide it again, but currently down here in the dark, I don't think that anyone would expect to find it in our friends' hands, and they might in mine or ours.
Fair enough. So Callum, you've made an arrangement to find a ship for this individual?
Yes, I have made that arrangement. Not quite sure how to do that.
Probably got friends down in the docks, an ex-lover.
Not really counting on Linu having anything that would impress me.
Well, I would like a cigarette. And I think I'm going to stand up and go to the baristas to see if I can get.
Is this the first time we know of you smoking? Also, like, is this a
Yeah,
sudden revelation of like you want a cigarette?
Yeah, I think the memory like sparked like, oh yeah, like these are things that exist, and up until this point, they're meaningless to me.
I love it.
Awesome.
That's great. I think Dumu is less interested in our friend who has it, and more interested in the body it was retrieved from. And since some of us are smoking and some of us are particularly expecting dogs, I want to go.
One of us is
I want to go
just trying
find
to
a
get
dead
cigarette.
body.
So a cigarette in this world, I'm going to say, is a section of young reed stuffed with something delightful. We can say it's tobacco. That's fine. Yeah. And the barista looks at you like, you know what? Sure. For you, you bet. On the house. Slides one over to you. I'll come out with you. I'll go smoke.
This is for later.
Oh, what? Later?
She looks out like in the windows, and like it's nighttime, so it's hard to see. She goes, "Yeah, it's not time yet."
It is, of course, always nighttime.
And
but you're
and she tucks it in.
You waiting for it to rain?
But she tucks it in. And again, I feel like I picture Sai as like a very tall, lanky individual. So a lot of the times, like she's having to kind of lean down and like very languid movements. So she's just kind of like pulling it up and like slipping it into like some pocket in her thing, and like she just kind of smiles sweetly like, thank you, and before there's a response, she's just turning and like returning to the group.
Oh, you're breaking hearts all over the place. You don't see the barista looking after you, you know, like, damn, this was my in. So then, Dumu, what do you do with this?
I think Dumu does kind of go to the door, like moves it aside, and like watches our friend kind of disappear out into the darkness with this lamp. Tunnel deaths feel like a fairly common thing. Not necessarily like it's every day, but it's certainly probably a multiple times a month reality. Dumu with just like unnerving kind of like disorientation turns to the barista who was trying to make their way out for a cigarette, who maybe just like also just kept going to try to save a little bit of face.
No, actually, they didn't.
They
stayed
turned
behind.
around. Okay.
Yeah. Well, like they turned around right away, but they're like, ah, damn it. All right, next time. And went back to making
Great.
coffee.
Just turns to somebody outside and just looks them in the eyes and say, "Do you know where the last person who died in the tunnels was?" Just ask to whoever is standing outside the brothel right now, who are probably smoking.
Yeah, sure. I think that you find this person outside the brothel who is dressed much more nicely than anybody else in this neighborhood, and is sort of surprised to be talked to by you. It says, I don't know. I'm sure I could find out. But
Is it due to a lack of concern?
That I don't know?
Yes.
No, the Undercity isn't my thing. And like there's somebody on the other side of the door who is smoking a cigarette and is like, yeah, I know who died out there. Give me a coin, I'll tell you. Don't listen to this guy. He is clearly out, not from here. But it's a woman smoking a cigarette, and she's like, I can tell you for a coin.
Can I? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to save our coins. I have I think Sai kind of walks out and sees that like Dumu is engaging with these people and like kind of hears some of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And like again, she checks and sees that it's not raining, so the cigarette remains safely in her pocket, but she's going to approach and sort of as she's walking towards them try to assume their mannerisms. So I can use the move I can be anybody. When you want to see
whose mannerisms? Sorry, go ahead.
This like group of aristocrats that's like standing around.
There's one aristocrat and there's one other person who is not an aristocrat at all.
And is that the person that says that they know who died? Okay, I think it's them. Like I want to try and like take on the mannerisms of this person, like whether like if they're a tunnel worker of sorts, right? Like to make it seem like I am in their club or like in their circle of influence. So it's less about like a stranger asking for funds and more like a dude on the night shift. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So the epitaph I would like to use is my Sai, who is determined to keep trying.
Nice.
And I will roll. Remind me, it's just 2d6 or a d6?
2d6 and add a flat number.
Perfect.
And then I interrupted you about describing the move. So after you roll, you can read it out again.
Awesome. So I got a 6 plus my 2, which is 8.
A glowing success.
Yes.
Perfect.
And the move is, so you can, when you want to seem to be somebody else, invoke an epitaph and roll on a glowing success. You play the new role expertly. With the aid of clothes and accessories, only your friends can tell it's you until you roll a miss on any move. And yeah, I think like it's less the clothes and more just like the mannerisms and kind of like gruffness that this person like yeah, man, like I know who died down there.
Do you start smoking the cigarette?
No, she does not. Instead, she kind of comes up to this person and just kind of asks like, "Oh, were you?" And like again, like kind of were you in one of the crews?
Oh, hey, yeah. I was on the crew that night. We were, you know how it is. End of a long shift, you don't expect much. You come across somebody, you remember it. No, I mean, I heard this cry out, and it was this this woman named Igira who moved to the city just recently, but had started joining the digging teams, and we tried to show her the ropes, but she must have fallen. It looked like she just uncovered a hole that went down deeper than she expected. It happens all the time. Usually you have a buddy holding you, but looks like she broke her leg, crawled out, but not too long after crawling out of that hole, seems to have succumbed to injuries and had this thing close to her chest, and then the smugglers are all going through the tunnels, and
I mean, it's really
that guy
hard
comes
to
along,
get stuff done with it, safety concerns and everything. They're just hacking away down there trying to get to stuff. I totally get it. It's incredible that the rest of you guys didn't get sucked in.
Totally, just the luck of the gods. And what's his fuck over there comes by and plucks this thing out from Igira's cold dead hands.
Oof.
Yeah.
That is. Do you mind? And she directs to the cigarette that he's smoking. Like, do you mind?
Oh, no. Anything for a fellow shuffler.
Awesome. Yeah. No, thanks. She takes it and kind of puts it out. And goes, well, no. Oh, here's this back. No, that's great. Thank you. My crew they're about to send us out into a new system. I heard a lot about floods coming in. We're feeling kind of antsy, but now that I know, I can kind of let them know that at least this death wasn't flood related. I hear that those are getting worse and worse.
Yeah, boy, they are. Yeah, and the sinkholes, Jesus, whole houses falling on our heads just from flood damage. It's thanks, I guess.
Yeah, you're welcome. And she just does it like a big smile, and is gonna look at Dumu and say, "Good afternoon," and start walking off towards the main tunnel entrance, just on her way.
I look at the aristocrat and I say, "You should be more like her," and point him and point at the shuffler who was standing there and just follow Sai while this, I'm sure, agog an insulted aristocrat gapes.
Yeah, totally.
I'll leave a tip for the barista and walk out after Dumu.
Okay, excellent, awesome. The aristocrat comes in, and just as you're going, you see him leaning over and whispering urgently to the barista. And that's good.
I'm just gonna look at Dumu and Callum. So you heard everything he said, right? The hole, tunnels, treasure, broken leg.
Indeed.
Callum, is a broken leg beautiful to you?
No, a broken leg is not beautiful. I mean, if
checking.
it happens in the name of love, it's sort of dramatically compelling.
Okay, it's just an emotional outburst at an inopportune time would be. I didn't think that you would find that jar very beautiful. So now I feel like I don't know anything, and I already didn't know anything.
It was the music from the jar.
Oh.
The jar was quite plain. I was prepared for Leno to be running a scam. I would not think there would be anything genuine.
So I'm of two opinions. We can go find the hole that Igira fell into and find more of whatever she found there to get coin, or we can just try to get a boat to get that item to get Lenu off this island.
We should see if there is more down there first, and then we can more accurately assess the situation. A boat, it's just a matter of tricking the right people into taking Lena to the mainland.
Who would be the right person?
You don't know until you've found a mark.
I think I've met a mark.
I meant found someone who will believe what you tell them about the importance of getting Leno to the mainland.
Oh, I mean, I didn't talk to Mark about that, though he did seem very amiable.
Mark is quite amiable. If we're thinking about the same Mark.
You did say Mark. Things are so strange here.
All right, so are you all going to find the nearest entrance to the tunnels under the city?
Yeah, I think the goal is to try and find this pit that Igira fell into, yeah.
And remind me about the tunnels under the city that are flooded with underground water. What floods them again? Like,
go for it, Tony.
I'm about to say two things: accidentally breaking through, because remember we've carved down in and we're surrounded by ocean, so every once in a while a dumb dummy. Though that is less common. What is most common is that the narwhal-like sharks hammer through the outside. But there is also now sport around trying to catch those narwhal sharks, and so every once in a while tunnels are busted through as a kind of mockery of chasing Atlanteans into the tunnels, catching them, and then I probably selling them off for parts. I'm sure there's a great Unishark stew recipe that floats around too. But yeah, so there's a little bit of a prestige around that type of hunt, though I think most people, because of the fact that it is deadly in a number of ways, kind of generally frown upon it. And so but yeah, there is a mining culture here also too, so they are digging down for precious metals, because that's a big part of our economy, our currency, or like not our currency, but our economic and commercial prowess is precious metals and bone tools. Right.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so it's not hard to find a relatively recent sinkhole in your neighborhood, which we shall say is underserved by public utilities, that leads down and connects to these tunnels. It's not pretty. It's slow going. It's dirty. It's muddy, and very quickly it's even darker than the nighttime sky that you're so used to. The tunnels are actually very hard to navigate, but Sai, with this identity that you've assumed, you have now memory of these tunnels and their geography that comes with the shoveler's lifestyle.
Right. I love it. I think that then, like, normally the way I would kind of characterize that for my fellow companions is normally Sai does not lead. Like, she kind of follows around like a little kid in a grocery store, like kind of stopping and like looking at stuff and having to like be called to attention. But now she's just like very comfortably walking down. If there are like any sort of like safety protocol, you know what I mean, like punch in card, anything like that, like, or equivalent, like she's just like mindlessly doing the things to be able to like kind of get through to where we can more thoroughly explore the tunnels.
Yeah, and I think it's that you don't have to walk far to find a length of reed rope and a discarded shovel that just feel really natural in your hand. The safety protocols are not to bunch up too much, in case there is a cave in. And then that if you are to go down into a pit, to tie off and have somebody else holding the other end of the rope.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah. I think she just kind of starts whistling a song that neither of them have ever heard as she ties it around herself and kind of does the thing and then takes the rope and hands it to them.
Nice. So you're walking through these tunnels with great confidence, and it doesn't take too long, a couple hours, but that's not long, to happen upon this new pit in the ground. And you can see just on this side of it, you can see a woman dressed unusually for this city, with a bright red sash around her waist and a broken leg. And then just past her is the tunnel, is the pit. What do you do?
I think we're here.
Seems this is the place.
I'm going to squint at Callum and turn to Dimu. He does not believe that this is beautiful.
It's certainly not auspicious in the way that you would think a spot where someone had died would be.
Well, not all deaths are created equal.
I guess some have more secrets than others.
Some have more expectation than others. I make a sign, in recognition of the dead over the fallen worker.
Nice.
I would like to move closer to the worker and sort of crouch down. One of the other moves that I took was Shade Witnesses. The dead are always near you. When you listen to their whispers, you can invoke an epithet and roll. The epithet I would like to invoke is who sees the potential locked in every person and thing, understanding that like this dead person like obviously saw where we want to go.
Nice.
And I will roll my 2d6. So I got a 5.
Including your epithets value?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's too far away from a glowing success to be remedied with spending hearts. So that's a miss.
Do you want to talk to us about how spending hearts works?
Yeah, you two can spend a heart on Sarah's move, or any of you two can spend a heart on the other person's move if you have hearts from that person, which means that you have influence over them. They care what you think about them. Each player can spend up to 1 heart on somebody else's move at a time, per move.
Yeah. That's fine. On a miss, the dead resent the sun on your cheeks. I still get to ask 1 question, but the answer leaves me feeling drained, so I will mark 1 wound.
We'll also mark XP for the miss.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And all your minor knowledge is just gone because you rolled a miss.
So that's wonderful. Oh, I love that. And now I'm just like, So the questions I could ask, let me get to that really quick. What future danger can I avoid? What would you do here if you were alive? What do you recall about blank? What advantage can we gain over the threat we face? And then on a more personal note, how can I escape the Galu demons next time? I want to, the question I would ask, like knowing that we're trying to get down into this pit, is what future danger can I avoid? Like in the pit.
Okay. The shade of this worker materializes around their fallen body, and they look at you and they say, "Oh, it's you. I heard about you. Aren't you supposed to be dead?"
Am I not?
Nope, nope. You're very much alive.
Oh, my
I
bad.
Well, I'll just take a little of that breath from you, because I miss it. You know, it hasn't been that long. It feels like a long time. I miss it. So that's where your wound comes from.
Perfect.
Take a little of your breath of life, and you want to know how you can avoid a future threat. They say there was a jar down there, a big clay jar that I broke open like an idiot looking for treasure, and there was a thing in there, a guardian, I guess, somebody who did not like that I'd broken it open and broken open the jar, and seemed really to have been hanging out in there just in case some idiot like me came along. So I don't know if they're still down there tied to that thing, but they're it was some kind of spirit, some really dangerous thing. So my advice to you is don't go down there. Oh God, do you hear that? Do you, it's like a flapping. Oh no, I need to go back. I need to go back. I'll just take that breath with me. That'll keep me warm for years, I think.
Yeah, Sai willingly kind of like, maybe like it takes more than Sai's anticipating, but like initially she's like, yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, it hurts like you were not expecting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And just as the shade dissipates, you can hear the flapping too. And it's it strikes a distant chord that you can't quite place, but it feels dangerous.
Okay.
And that's probably a good place to take a break.
Yeah,
Bum,
let's
bum,
do it.
bum.
So we are going to take about 5 minutes break chat. Go get a glass of water, use the bathroom, tell somebody you think they're cool, and we will be right back.
I think you're cool.
Aw.
We'll pop back on live because there's a raid happening. We're just waiting on our good buddy Richard to get back. Maybe Richard is back.
Y'all.
Oh, there we
Hey.
Richard is back.
go. We're back. We're live. There's a raid happening. Tales of Initiative, thanks for coming in. We are playing some Defy the Gods. This is our session 2. We did a world building session last week. Maybe Sarah can drop the link. You should be able to.
I should be able to.
So people can go find Defy the Gods.
Yes.
You are our we're glad to have you as our problem. And so but yeah, we it's a PBTA sword and sorcery game set in a fantasy ancient Mesopotamia. We did a bunch of world building last week, and now we're down in deep mucky tunnels that we made in the world and trying to figure out weird ancient god things.
Correct.
Yeah. And where we left our adventurers was Sarah's character Sai just talked to a ghost of a dead person, and
like you
do, who has now hied back off toward the underworld. But now there's a flapping of wings that you hear, and I want to say that everybody can hear it.
Ooh, that is alarming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, thank
you're
you.
in a tunnel. It's not really a place where flapping happens.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the rare crow getting caught down there. And you've been told that in this pit is a giant clay jar that the dead person broke shortly before being killed by something living in it. What do you do? Anybody?
Could the party hear my discussion with the dead, or was that
That's up to
purely-
you. That's...
I like to think that it kind of sounded like weird, ghosty, like mutterings. You know what I mean? Like like sort of a thing, not like static, but just like almost like wind blowing
Nice.
through tunnels and everything. And so like as we're hearing this flapping, I'm gonna turn and look at the both of you wide-eyed, as if like I don't remember how I got here and I don't understand what's happening. And I'm just gonna say, there's a guardian in the pit.
I am loosening my saber so that I can there's nothing really to strike at right this moment. But I want to be ready for any threats or actions that take place. And I'm not giving up my breath. Sai, I don't judge you, but I'm not going to join you in just surrendering my breath to strangers.
Well, it wasn't a stranger. We did have a conversation.
Are you saying they were not strange?
They're not stranger than you. You cry all the time.
I weep for beauty.
I think I am probably bolting into the hole. Like I don't think this looks like it's a move reference.
Right.
I don't think this looks particularly fast, but I do think the way that Dumo doing it is fairly fatalistic and therefore haphazard. So it is probably more of a bolt than it is of a finesse.
Sounds good.
So yeah, I just kind of step over the edge and start sliding down the like steep angle of the mud. This pit. I also am pretty sure I'm in the middle, so I have no idea what it's going to do because at least I'm tethered to at least one of you. I don't know if
Right. All tied to the same rope.
I kind of like the idea of that action is now just going to kind of pull, like Sai's not ready to withstand, so she was at the front of the rope. She is just going to like be pulled with you, because I just don't think that like she's just going with the flow. We're back to like don't know what I'm doing, Sai.
I'm going to wait and see how this goes before I try to do anything because I feel like I don't want too many sudden rolls happening. But I will do something with a good bit more finesse.
And basic moves are still the same. I'm going to pick an epithet,
Yes.
correct? Okay, cool.
Right, you pick an epithet and roll 2d6 and assign the worth of your epithet.
All right, so my epithet, which for anybody who just joined us, these are short sayings that help define our character and kind of replace stats. Let's see. I don't think that either of the two I've mentioned before makes sense at all. The one that is probably the best is who only submits to whom they choose, because I am choosing to not submit to whatever is coming and instead seeking what is down in this hole. So let's give that a roll. That's a 9. That's an 11. So is that a burning success?
Excellent. Yes, it's a burning success. Awesome.
And so let's see what that does on a bolt move. Switching back and forth between a couple sheets here. Basic moves bolt. When you want to move openly, energetically, or forcefully, running, leaping, or overcoming an obstacle, invoke an epithet and a roll. On a glowing success, which I did not get, a certain thing would happen. On a burning success, you get there, but choose one. You endanger a friend. The GM will say who takes wounds, if anyone. You say so chaos or destruction. Mark fire. You overshoot your mark and are confronted with a new obstacle. The GM will say what will happen. So I choose one, but then the GM defines it.
Right.
Just because I want to push us up on this track, I'm going to mark fire, but I fully expect some of that other stuff to happen as a player also, too, given what we have narratively defined also. So I'm ready for the chaos that the GM decides to unleash. My fire track, for those who don't know, basically we're powering up, and then if you hit the top of your fire track, you take on essentially especially powerful doom moves. Is that correct?
Well, you trigger a climactic move called Defy the Gods.
Defy the Gods.
And because with that move alone, you're rolling plus fire, it is very likely that you will roll too high and get a doom move.
Cool.
But whatever happens when that move is triggered, that changes basically everything.
Yeah, I want to get to some of that good shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will sow chaos and destruction and mark fire.
Okay, well, I think the chaos and destruction, at least the start of it, is a simple answer, which is that you drag Sai and Callum along with you, jostling them. You know, Callum, you've half drawn your sword. Now it's all the way out and it is just flashing around.
I am going to try to do something with finesse to extract myself from this being pulled in.
Well, first I have to resolve this move.
Yeah.
So,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's cool. That's cool. Which is basically say good luck, because you two are also pulled into the hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't give anybody any wounds, but you are suddenly sliding down this steep grade and are in this hole, and there is in fact a giant Pythos-sized clay jar with a big hole broken into it, and you are now all just rushing, tumbling even to crash into this jar and make that hole even bigger. And now you are face to face with a skeleton that was inside this jar. The jar is much bigger than is needed to hold a human skeleton, and this is not a human skeleton. It is a skeleton made of dark opal. It's vaguely iridescent, and the bones are exquisitely carved, and the hand bones are kind of clenching like this, as if they had been holding on to something, but now they're just holding on to the air in front of their empty abdomen. And there are these gold trinkets half buried in dirt and ash amid the vertebrae. And you all are basically half in the jar already.
What I love is in the world we built, it's like, oh look, there's gold. Holy shit, look at these bones.
Those bones, though.
Those bones are going to be worth so much.
Right, totally. Yeah. Okay, Richard, what do you do?
I think to try to avoid being in front. Because I am Callum, who is never at fault.
Awesome.
I'm just going to sort of gently wedge my sword into like a crack of rock and loose clay on the slope. And let them sort of fall forward into the. I see the bone,
that's good.
but I don't want to like be too close to. I don't want to take damage from those bones. I don't want to myself on the bones. I'm going to let
you
them.
are not down at the bottom of the hole. Then.
Yeah. I'm sure let them tumble forward, and I'm going to try to use my sword to anchor myself just gently at the top, because I am not at fault.
And you should not have to suffer for the acts of those who are.
I have suffered for many man's foolishness before, but I don't like to fall onto a dead body.
So
I like dead bodies to fall into my pockets, not for me to fall onto them.
So you're halfway down the hole with your sword wedged in the rocks and the side of this pit, and it is a deep enough hole that the rope that has Dumu most closest to you hanging from it is now taut with the distance that Dumu and Sai have fallen. And so it's tugging at you.
Do you want me to roll with finesse real quick?
Sure, yes, please.
Or roll finesse.
Yes, maybe this will change my description.
And you're using who's never at fault?
That is an 8. That is my strongest. That is my strongest epithet, and it is an 8.
So what is a glowing success for finesse?
Glowing success on finesse is you get or do what you wanted with no one the wiser.
Right, because finesse is about doing something carefully or discreetly, and you are, I'll say that you can avoid being in this hole at all if you're willing to cut the rope.
I think
do it,
Richard, as a player, it's fine. Like no one
do it.
Tony, I don't trust that tone of voice. I don't trust that tone of.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll talk about it later. It's fine. It's fine. Just cut the rope. It's fine.
Tone of voice.
Do it.
I am going to see them tumbling forward and realize that I don't have much of a choice. And I'm going to. You said this is a broken hole in this pottery that we are falling into. I'm going to let the rope rub itself against the jagged edge.
Okay. All right.
And I'm just going to collapse helplessly across the open near the opening
of the pit.
So
you're not down in the pit.
Severs.
Okay.
There's no point in all three of us dying together.
Well,
again,
I was gonna say, to be fair, that's always been Callum's approach.
It's no point in us dying again together.
I love it.
So surprising no one, Dumu and Sai, you are down in this pit with this like probably 8 foot tall onyx or dark opal skeleton alone without Callum. And Callum, you can look from a position of safety as these two you tumble into this jar, and you see, like, at first just dust, and then you see these other bones of, like, what look like they must once have been covered in feathers. Bones of wings sort of lift up from the dirt and just start to move back and forth slowly, cracking open more of this jar as they do. And the skull of this skeleton just sort of tips toward you in a way that does not seem motivated by gravity. Sai, what do you do?
That's a good question. I want to I think kind of thinking reactionary and knowing that like there's a guardian in the pit from the dead individual. I want to and assuming that it's the skeleton, take an act against it. So I think on reaction, she's going to just like take a deep breath and exhale at them using my fighting move, Breath of the Tombs. When you wish to breathe death on an enemy, I invoke an epithet and roll. And I am going to invoke who is determined to keep trying for that. So let me roll and hope for the best. That's a 7.
Okay. Dumu, do you have a heart from Sai that you?
I do have a heart.
You're willing to spend
a heart from Sai.
Correct.
Now, does this typically narratively represent a diminishing of our bonds? Is that what it's? Like
no, it does not.
Okay, cool.
It represents a way that you are helping them either in the moment or that a memory of your affection helps them.
That's fine. I know that sometimes heartstrings are fraying, like mechanically or fraying.
No, yeah,
a
not in this
relationship.
case.
Cool. That's fine. Yeah, I'm happy to spend that heart.
Awesome. Okay, so that tips you over Sai from a miss to a glowing success.
Awesome. On a glowing success, the fetid vapor passes from your lips. Your nearest enemy within arm's reach chokes, taking 1 wound. If they are still alive, take wounds as directed.
Which is to say, this is a combat move, and in Powered by the Apocalypse, combat resolves. Your move resolves both sides of the combat, and if they're not disabled by your move, then they get to attack you also.
Yes.
So you do wound them with this fetid vapor. I'm picturing what it looks like, and I think the vapor passes over them and it causes pieces of their bones to become brittle and just crack and fall into dust.
I love that. I think it looks like when you're like outside and it's cold, it's almost, there's like a beauty to it until it hits that skeleton, and then it becomes like terrifying. Like the air between us is like suddenly like feels very dangerous. I love that.
Yes, totally. And one of the wings, when the pinions of the wings falls off, and like the jaw cracks and falls off, and you can see this red light in the eye sockets flickering to life, and it will reach out with one of its claws, one of its hands, its bony hands, and rake you with it and mark 1 wound. Wound both your epithets.
Awesome. I'll do that to the one that I used just now.
Okay. All right, cool. Dumu, did I?
Yeah, no, it's my turn. I see this happening, and I think Dumu, like, there's an obvious like moment of hesitation in his mind, like where you can see he's torn between the beautiful, terrifying secret that this place is, and a friend who he already feels a sense of loss around is in danger again, which will went out. But I'm going to use respite or respite. When you want your patron to soothe you, invoke a wounded epithet and roll. I think I'm going to go ahead and wound the who only submits to those they choose at this point in time. So I'll mark that, which how the move goes may not matter. Well, I'll see. All good. And then I'm going to roll 2d6 and add 2. Going to get me 8.
Perfect.
Which is
Great.
what we want for a glowing success. And then, so on a glowing success for respite, you soothe your you feel your patron's soothing presence. Unmark 1 wound. Your patron's domain manifests around you in a subtle way for a moment, preventing harm from you and all within arm's reach, which we're gonna say is Sai at this point in time. This effect also gives you time to wake 1 more move safely. I'm a power gamer, and so we are gonna mark. Let me get that wound marked real quick.
So, yes. Well, you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. Well, I guess I could
You have
unwound my
no
other
more.
one, but
Yeah.
But
yeah. Either way, yeah, you could.
I actually think I am gonna
either one.
unwound my other one since it will not matter, and I do actually want my fancier, better my better stat wounded.
There you go.
And so,
And then Sarah, you've unmarked your wound, right?
Yeah. So
Perfect.
yeah. And then we are going to we're gonna unleash some fury. When you release your patron's wrath, invoke a wounded epithet and roll. We're gonna use the same one who only submits to whom they choose, because this person is not my friend. That's a 13.
Holy shit!
So anybody who's watching who doesn't know, so typically PBTA is like 6 and lower is like miss. 7, 8, 9 is whatever 10 plus is a thing.
Right.
And
7, 8, 9 is mixed success. 10 plus.
And in
success,
some games though, you've got that range bumped up a little bit, and then what they like then a top range where you are so fucking badass that bad things happen, and that is how this game works. And it's one of my favorite things about the style of PBTA. I really love it for this setting and this design style also. So when you release your patron's wrath, invoke a wounded epithet and roll. On a burning success, one of your patron's domains erupts from your body in all directions. Mark 1 wound and mark fires. Everyone near you marks 1 wound. If an enemy can reach you, take wounds as directed. A trace of your patron's power remains, coloring your other actions for this scene. Now, a little bit of clarification here, and whatever you say is fine, Chris. Technically, my patron is protecting people in arm's reach of me, but also like that was from the previous move. But now also, if anybody who's nearby me, they're going to get hurt. So I'll let you decide what happens to my good friend Sai. What we do see generally is a million, like not million, like we see scores of spiraling, whirling tunnels rip out of my flesh in all directions. Before this point, like, you know, I think we've seen a lot of like, there are times where you can't quite tell if there are holes in my body as like I shift and move around. But at this point it becomes very clear that suddenly, oops, all holes. As tunnels, and you can hear like whispers echoing down the cloud. It's a cacophony. There's no ability to make sense of it explicitly, right? I mean, fans are going to write tons of articles about what they think they heard as hints for future episodes, but and just erupt out, stabbing into the walls and into other things around that aren't protected. So yeah, I don't know. Is Sai protected from this, or is Sai taking wounds?
I think that Sai is protected.
Okay.
Ooh.
But if you take another wound later in this combat, this wound will catch up to you. It'll be 2 wounds.
I like that.
So for now, you're protected. You do send. It's like you send holes out from you through Psy and through this thing and into the dirt walls around you. The jar is suddenly perforated with holes, and the holes that you send into this thing crack it apart. I think you crack the hip bones to dust and is disconnected from its legs, and it's like trying to prop itself up, and it sort of it lurches onto its side and reaches out to claw you, but the protection of your patron from your previous move still in effect, so you don't take any wounds either. But now there are also all these tiny tunnels in the sides of this pit, and I think deep in those you can hear a gurgling sound.
Shit.
So, Callum, what do you do from your perch of safety? There's bad shit happening down there.
There's
you are
bad
so lucky
shit
to go
happening
down
down
there.
This is
here.
exactly why Callum knew not to get down in this hole with me for a number of reasons.
When we talk about the skull being large, proportional to my friends' bodies, how large is it?
I want to say,
like, we talked about it being 8 feet tall, but I just kind of wanted to get a sense of, like, is that
like the skull itself is like the top part of the skull without the mandible, which is now gone, is like the size of a basketball.
okay,
Ancient Mesopotamian basketball.
An ancient Mesopotamian basketball. And are there like broken shards of this pottery or anything like around like the clay casing around here, or porcelain?
Not where you can get to them, because you are maybe 15 feet up from where these folks are.
I'm just gonna grab a small rock.
But the shovel that Sai
had
been carrying is there. Yeah.
I think the shovel. Then I'm just gonna grab the shovel, and I'm going to call out like hello, and I'm going to very obviously throw the shovel at the skeleton so that the skeleton can easily dodge it. What the skeleton won't then be able to easily dodge is me jumping down to bring my blade down from the inside of its eye socket or into its eye socket.
Okay. All right. So
knock the back off, or not the back of the skull off.
Okay, this sounds like a bolt move.
I am actually, I believe,
dazzling blade.
I am actually a dazzling blade.
Okay, awesome. You want the dazzling blade to cover both things? The throwing of the shovel.
Well, it's just more like I was just using trickery. It's more of like
it's your trickery. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a feint to like get the shovel to like, oh, I'm gonna dodge that and then like not see the person falling on top of me.
I love it. Okay. Which epithet are you invoking?
I am invoking Who Weeps for Beauty, because the skeleton is beautiful. It's made of obsidian.
I love this. I'm not strange as you like start crying, like descending into the pit. So good.
It was the wind from me falling so fast. It got in my eyes.
Incredible.
Now that is a 6.
Oh. I'm not a number scientist, but I think that's not good.
If both your
I'll give a heart to Callum.
Wait, do you have 2 or 1 with me?
I have 2.
Okay.
And Sai?
I have 2 from Callum, so I can give, but can I only give 1?
Just one at a time, yeah. Just
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
But if they both go, so your friend who you thought had abandoned you is proving once again that it was all a clever ruse,
Mm.
It was all a clever
leaving you a little bit
improvisation.
up in the air. What?
It was all a clever improvisation.
Yes, leaving you guessing once again about whether they actually care about you, but coming through for you right now. Okay, with those hearts, one from each, it's a glowing success. What does that look like? What is it? What is a glowing success on this?
You fight artfully. I inflict one wound and take wounds as directed in return. Pick one. I either parry, vault, or spar. I think I'm gonna vault.
Okay.
I will take the wounds that you indicate, but I'm going to land just past where the skeleton is, so they're not paying any attention to either Sai or Demo.
Nice. Excellent. So you distracted the skeleton with the shovel and jumped down, vaulted down into the hole, miraculously avoiding injury, and are able to thrust your blade deep into the eye socket of this obsidian skull and crack that whole skull open. And I think that kills it. That's 3 wounds. It does not inflict a wound on you because you delivered the killing blow and you crack this skull open and a weird red mist floats out of it and up out of the hole, and the whole thing just falls apart. All the bones become disjointed from each other and it clatters into stillness. You also get a +1 on your next bolt move.
Oh, hell yeah.
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 You said a red mist pours out of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is good because Callum is very focused on the bones right now.
Yeah, those are some good bones for you to care about.
Fortunate bones.
Those are magic bones.
Yeah, these are some
Possibly
good bones.
More than 20 bone coins of bones right here.
It's all about finding a buyer, but yes.
It's also, potentially enough to keep Callum in
espresso
and attentions for a significant period of
time. This red mist pouring out of it, that's not a normal thing when things die, correct?
That is not a normal thing at all.
Cool. Can I use view from on high on that mist? Which I am gonna unfortunately do who sees from a god's perspective, which is my dump epithet. Let's see. I just got my good rolls in. It's an 8 straight up on the die.
Oh, excellent! Nice. All right. All right, great.
So yeah, I get to ask a thing about it on a glowing success. When I want to see the world through my god's eyes, invoke a wounded epithet and gain their exalted perspective briefly. Know what they know, and that is I have one thing that I have to ask the GM. What did the future hold? How can we change the future, if at all? What does my patron know about? What advantage can be gained over the threat we face? And what does my patron fear here? Oh man, that's good too. I still think I'm going to say, what does my patron know about this? I'm red mist curious, and I don't think I can be dissuaded, even though fear would be interesting. Yeah.
The red mist is the So once again, you are in the presence of Igdama. Now it's almost like Igdama's just down in the tunnel with you, and Igdama says, "Oh, that red mist, that is the life breathed into this thing by the god of death, and the mist now returns to the lungs of the god."
We didn't establish a
Which
god of
is
death.
not good.
Yeah, we didn't
We
establish
did
a god
not.
of death. It's not good. You said that's good to know.
It's
So it
not
means
great.
that these creatures, these are older creatures, and the gods literally breathe into this, as opposed to mortals. We don't have
Okay.
that same type of divine spark.
No.
Interesting.
I would like to approach Dumu while you're doing this. What do you look like when you're doing this? Are you just kind of standing there like, oh?
So
Yeah,
a
what do
thing
you
you're
look
going to
like?
notice about Dumu right now, which is really important, is like he normally has his body is pretty obscured, right? Like you've seen like, bits of arm and other stuff through the different kind of like holes that kind of float around his robes. He seems physically empty, like if you reach out and touch him, like it is as if somebody had taken a like paper doll and stabbed a ton of holes through it. I have wounded all of
Oh
my
yeah,
epitaphs
this is.
at
I love this.
point.
I love the visual of it because I think like as I approach and like see that, Sai her face will kind of like scrunch up and she'll go, well, no. If you're willing, she is gonna lay her hands like on your shoulders because I picture that she's very like tall, and I would like to try and use Wellspring on Dumu. So whatever reanimated you, it fills you with possibility. When you share this life force with someone who lets you touch them, I get to invoke an epithet and roll. I think I will use again, who is determined to keep trying, just to keep like you have to keep going, you have to keep doing. If I do, you do. We're in it together. And that is an 11.
Ooh, a burning success. What's a burning success on Wellspring?
On a burning success, you pass them some spark. They unmark 1 wound. So I think the way that looks is that same kind of glowing, like I put my hands on your shoulders and that same mist like breath kind of emerges from my hands, but instead of like causing that really terrifying harm, it's just like that nice, like, aloe vera on a sunburn, like just that nice, like cool, like tingly, like, ooh, that feels nice.
What did you roll again?
You rolled a burning success.
Yeah.
Oh, burning. There we go. Never mind.
You read a very nice glowing success, but you rolled a burning
That's true.
success.
So my touch overwhelms you with visions of immortality, and you mark fire.
God,
Thank you
I love
for
that. I'm at 3 fire right now.
Hell yeah.
Oh, awesome. Oh, it's so soon. This is great. We're not there yet, but it's very close.
It feels like I give you a mild sunburn. We'll change it.
No, I love it. So like, I love that, like you do that. I mean, if I can, like, I love like, you watch it go and like your intent was like to like fill these, like have my flesh fill back up these
like
holes.
almost like to like fill you with like substance.
Yeah.
And
it is just fucking like lightning in a bottle right now. Like you can see this energy of life and death like ricocheting around my frame. There's for the vessel, there's interestingly a very like time manipulation coded like value to it, which is really cool. I mean, I love like moments of alternate like pathways that this could have taken or that could come up in the future being like momentarily visible in these holes in my body. And it's up to the GM, but like
no, I like that.
Even I was gonna say, even like I think, and maybe you don't even recognize it, but like we don't need a scene for it basically, but like there's a flash of you seeing you and me before you died together in one of those. Also too, like no context because it's just so fast.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
I love that.
Callum, while your friends are magicking and stuff, you can see that the lowest tunnels that were generated off of Dumu's body are welling up with water and just like starting to trickle and then just spurt water out of them. And then the holes a little bit farther up are starting to trickle out water. This looks like a successive process that is happening. What do you do?
And so, well, it would be very convenient had that rope not accidentally broken on its way down. And I start being much faster at gathering up these bones.
Okay, they are heavy, these bones.
They are heavy.
The bottom of the pit is now filling with water. It's probably up to your ankles. It's fine.
It's fine.
I don't actually think it's fine. My perspective is that we should be concerned about exiting this clay pit.
Cool.
And yet I don't really have. I mean,
so you could.
I'm a sailor and I always have rope.
Yes. You do have rope, and you always have a plan.
I mean, I like to tell people I always have a plan, but I really only have as an improvisation. I'm going to actually take the shoddiest looking bone and tie the rope around it.
Nice.
And try to use that as sort of a makeshift grappling hook around that jagged edge up top.
Cool.
We do also know, because the gal who fell in here, she broke her leg and she was able to crawl out. So we do know that there may be like another way out, I would assume.
But I also think it may have been. I think we have established this is shifting.
Gotcha.
Earth,
Gotcha.
right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
We are now filling with
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm tracking. We got all the water, chaos. I love it.
And you have a move, Callum, that is escape artist, right?
I do have escape artist. Thank you. I was not thinking of that. I was thinking, I should bolt, but I am never at fault. It is not my fault that we are here, nor my fault that things are filling with water right now. Not saying whose fault it is.
Mistakes were made.
He's out of it, so it doesn't matter. You can say everything you want.
The gods sometimes do things like this to us for their own dark, twisted reasons. So I am going to roll with Callum, who is never at fault. And that is a 7, even though that's my best.
Ooh, that's a miss. Interesting.
I mean, I feel like I read a thing and I'm trying to find it right now. If all of my wounds are marked, can I still? I cannot function.
Oh, you're good until you have to mark one of them again.
One of them again. Okay,
you're still good. Yeah, and you don't have to mark a new wound to cast it. To
no, that's fine. I mean, at this point, I'm also almost as powerful as I could possibly be. But I have an additional heart I can give Callum, so I will do that also too.
On a glowing success, escape the consequences for now, but owe someone a reckoning. Give them 1 heart.
In this case, I'm just going to say it's not one of your companions. It is a god.
Could it be the god of Demo's non-god?
Big Dumu.
Dumu?
Yeah, that's good.
I like that for this also too.
Yeah, that's good. Where you're able to briefly see Igdama as if through Dumu's eyes, and it's one of these frozen moments, and they lean in close to you. Tony, what does Igdama look like?
Igdama, I mean, I think they are they're largely shrouded. Like everything is kind of hidden away. Their hands are like dark and worn and covered with clay. The type of robes I've described, like where it's like layered, but there are holes in them that sometimes line up, are also what they wear. But I mean, I even like for this is Igdama, like it's close enough for you to actually like see underneath the darkness of the hood. Like like as they get close, like there are like the twinkle of eyes, but then you realize it is like almost like a refracting set of like geo gemstones inside of a hall. Like there is just glittering points of light down in that, like you I think kind of realize like they look like stars, but they also represent like the secrets that are hidden away in Igdama's like treasure trove.
I love that. Okay, so I want to say, Callum, that you throw the bone tied to the end of the rope up to the lip of the cliff of the pit, and it hits the underside of that sharp edge and clatters back down to your feet. And Igdama appears to you and leans in close to where you can see the glittering light inside their eyes that is just this accretion of crystal inside their head, and say that they'll fix this for you, but they want a token of your affection.
I'm trying to think of a good token.
I got it. Igdama reaches in, picks up a vertebra from this obsidian skeleton, and what did you say?
The choicest vertebrae.
The most choicest of
The
vertebrates.
best. And takes their mud-caked fingernail and scratches a symbol in it that you can't see right away, and then presses it into your palm and says, I'll take this. I'll give you this and a way out. And in return, I'll understand that I have your affection. I got it backwards. I was like, wait, no, they're giving you something. But still, I like the idea of them pressing this horrible vertebra into your hand.
I will treasure it forever.
That's enough, they say. And they pick up the bone in your rope and throw it, and it falls past the edge of the cliff, and you can hear it catch on something.
The GM will say if I take a wound on the way out.
Ah. I think being in Hawk with a god is good enough.
Okay.
So. Tony, did we actually resolve all of your move? The view from on high? Because I
Yeah, we did.
sure.
Yeah,
okay, right.
The
red
life
mist.
breath of that. Yeah.
Yes, it's not good. Okay. Okay, cool. So the water is up to your knees, everybody, and Duma, you come out of your trance, seeing the water has risen, and that that Callum has somehow magically come through in the clutch and has a way for you all to get out of here. Callum, are you trying to gather your friends, or are you just starting to climb?
I am yelling for them to. It would be good to begin climbing quickly now, unless you just really want to swim to the top.
I guess
Sai,
I'll
what do
climb
you
out.
do? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I there's a look of like brief frustration that passes over Dumu's face as he like thinks back to that moment where he was kind of going between like protect a friend or examine secrets here, and wishes he had more time, but then moves towards the rope and starts to climb up.
Sai is going to follow.
All right. Awesome. Let's see, Sai, how about you roll to either bolt or finesse, depending on how you're getting out. Let's make it bolt.
Yeah, I was gonna say bolt feels
not
better. And I'm gonna do one that I haven't used. No, we're gonna keep doing who is determined to keep trying, because I think it's just a matter of like, we got to get out of here. That is an even 10.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So you all managed to get out of the pit. The bones of this guardian sink below the water. The pot, the gold things that were in its clutches are all buried forever. The water doesn't go up to the, anywhere close to the lip of the pit, but it does rise to where you definitely all would have drowned, and you're out. Then I guess everything's okay. There's still a sound of flapping wings, but you're out of the pit. What do you do next? Sorry, what do you do next?
I think I look to the party, just because like a lot just happened in a very quick fashion. And just ask the question like, do we leave? Should we leave? Like, I think we should leave.
I can resolve this in the most frustrating way right
Hell
now.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Though it may not be the design intent, I do think it's really funny, so I want to pitch it. So here's the deal. A lot of the excitement started because Sarah had a bad roll.
It's true.
And then we went down in there and we explored cool things, and now Calm has so much good bones. I have a move called Promise. When you call on your patron's protection, invoke a wounded epithet. On a glowing success, rewind time to change a miss into a glowing success. Everyone still remembers the miss's effects. So I can theoretically take us back to the moment when you were talking to the shade and make it a glowing success instead.
Incredible.
Wow.
There is no like, it's not like it is just a previous move the way it's written. I don't know if that's the intent or not.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Okay,
no,
cool.
that's totally true. So,
I mean, I'm not like trying to hold you to it. Like, if that's not the intent, I just want to make sure. I think in this situation, it feels like a good bottle encapsulated moment. Otherwise, I wouldn't even probably pitch it. But
so
I think
I just want to.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure I understand what would not happen as a result. You would never go down.
We would have never gone down in the pit.
Right.
That feels.
And yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, right. You would never go down to the pit. If you roll well, you will not have alerted the thing with the flapping.
Which, that's my thing. Like, I can resolve the flapping wings by fixing that move, because the flapping wings was a hard move against Sarah's failure.
Right.
Right. And so we would not have the money. We would not have gone down into the pit.
Dang.
We would remember everything that happened and all the things we learned. And isn't that what's the most important thing here?
We would know that there is a glowing skeleton down there. So, I mean,
that's right, because everyone remember like what did not what.
But I also feel like, do we feel like the it's just so I check it on player intent right now also too, because I don't want to be a dick. Are we feeling like having all the good bones we just got, that is our way to buy passage and solve the the overall issue.
I think the glowing bones is a really good step forward, like
Yeah.
for whatever we want to do,
'Cause
right?
we won't have the glowing bones if I do.
Yeah,
No,
and
the deal with the glowing bones is it gives us lots of time to like fuck around in the city.
Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
like in my
Yeah.
mind, like I love where you're going, and I think that would
Yeah.
be like if we had like I almost wish that like in my mind you did do this because we watched ourselves drown and be stabbed to death in a pit,
Yeah.
and like this really is like the best of all
No,
worlds.
I wanted to pitch it because I think it's great and I think it's
Yeah.
wonderful. And I
Yeah.
love the reality in which we went that way as much as I love the reality in which there's
Yes.
flapping wings outside and we're going to keep on going forward. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I think
Yeah.
because the flapping wings, they sound like they're in the tunnel with us, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Sai, like we kind of had this like weird like time whoop, and Sai's like, I'm gonna run, and she's just gonna turn and start running towards the entrance of the like where we came out or where she thinks we came out because she does not remember
Oh,
it
that's
so good
right.
anymore.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's good. I okay. So, Dumu, what do you do that is not rewinding time?
It is not rewinding time and just being like, oh, that would have sucked.
It's like maybe you want to go to like rewind time and you see Callum just holding all these obsidian bones.
Actually, I do like. I kind of like
oversized
the pitch of
beamer.
like I see Callum clutching one of them really fervently in his hand, and decide not
Oh,
to.
that's true.
Yeah, and something tells me not to. Where is it coming away? I love that Sai just bolted. Like that's great.
Yeah.
Is Sai running away from these things or towards these things?
I think it's hard to tell in tunnels.
Well, I
like,
understand. This is the question. This is the
Yeah.
reason I'm asking the question.
I think in Sai's mind,
Sai, who doesn't know where they're running to or from.
yeah, I guess like it just doesn't matter, but like here is bad.
Yeah.
Somewhere else more likely to be good.
For sure.
Okay.
Can I tell what direction the flapping is coming from? Is my question though.
Oh, I think that at first you can't, and then you start to hear them more distinctly. So, wait, Sarah, are you running away from the flapping sounds?
I think if I start moving in the direction that I think is out and the flapping gets louder, I stop. Like I don't think my intention is definitely not to get closer to the flapping.
Okay, I think you're running in this in a direction, and it is you think the way out, and then you can hear that the flapping is getting louder, so you can run back the other way.
I would like if I start to hear the flapping getting louder, let's see. Could I this feels like a perilous place to me. Could I try to explore?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Cool.
But wait, hold that thought for a second.
Yep, go for it.
Tony, what were you saying?
I'm fine with what's happening right now. Yeah, I can
Okay.
the spotlight can come back to me in a second. I like Sai running a little bit forward and then going, oh shit, maybe not is good.
Okay.
All right. I am sorry, Kelby laid on my notes because of course she did. Yeah, I'm gonna invoke who is determined to keep trying because like, oh, not that way, gotta try a different way. And that is an 8.
Okay, great. So let's see, explore on an 8. What is it? Can you read it for me?
An 8 is a glowing success, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I get to ask 2 questions. Where is the best way to go from here? What is dangerous here? What does this thing do? What is valuable here? What are other missings? And what here can I use to blank? My first question is, where is the best way to go from here?
You smell a fresh breeze coming from a tunnel down to your left. It's not you're pretty sure it's not where you came from, but
Okay.
it definitely seems like the best way to go.
And the second question that I'm going to use is, what here can I use to stall the thing with wings?
Several drops of your blood. Because
Sorry.
the thing with wings, several drops of your own blood.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing with wings is a Galu demon, and it's coming looking for escaped shades like you.
Okay, got it. I think
There's like rewind time. Never mind. Do it.
never mind, take it back. It was my thing all along. I think this like realization hits, and like the what you guys see is like she kind of like bolts in a direction and like no, and like turns around and goes, and like you just hear saying it's all my fault, it's all my fault, it's all my fault. I think I would like to. I don't think that I have any like weapons on me, but I do know that Callum has a sword. So I'm just going to like kind of roughly come up and like grab the sword and kind of like if it's in a sheath or whatever, like pull it out just like a little bit. Being very rude of Callum's personal space right now. And like kind of take it and grab my hand and like slice it a bit so there I have blood welling between my fingers. And like run back down the like it's all my fault, it's all my fault, it's all my fault. And just kind of like drip it on the tunnel while I'm like point towards the other one and like go that way, go that way.
And then you take off running in the tunnel.
Yeah.
That seems like a good way to go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Callum, what do you do as this is happening?
I think. And where did you go, Dumu?
I've not moved yet. So
Okay.
you're up.
And I have to say, Callum,
I just
you-
make sure I
utterly failed to get proper credit for saving everybody's life there.
it's not about the credit. It's about how many bones I have in my hands right now. And how I'm about to get that music box that I have fallen in love with because it sounds like the voice of Bardumo's son. I may actually really regret being the indirect cause of his death.
Now,
I may actually think possibly I'm a little bit at fault, and I may have been in love.
oh,
I think I am going to, and Sai, where you were pushing ahead and using your blood to sort of distract the demon, is that what I understood, or am I missed?
Yeah,
the demon you haven't seen yet, but you just saw Sai acting in this very strange way.
Yeah.
And then running off down the tunnel off to the left. But yeah.
I think there would be
afraid of
some
it.
time while I'm dripping the blood where I'm like waving to them. Like, I don't think I have quite gone off yet. But again, like Callum, I just like came up, grabbed your sword, like cut my hand, put it back, and like you just hear me muttering, "Oh shit, my fault, my bad, my fault, my bad," as I'm like dripping blood, in the opposite direction.
Are we in bolting distance towards what I remember the direction of the exit to be?
Where a single bolt move would get you out of these tunnels? No, you had to walk a couple hours before getting here.
And I think I'm going to. You've cut yourself, and you're doing something blood-wise toward the.
It looks like I cannot stress this enough. It looks stupid. Like Sai is taking her like cut hand and like shaking it to like get more blood on the ground.
Sai, one of our dearest friends is filled with tunnels. Nothing you do will be judged by you.
Seems weird.
That's true.
I will not judge you at all for any reason. So because I have a +1 to my
your bolt, right?
My bolt, and I am so close to being able to recover the voice that I heard singing. I am going to draw on my capacity to fall in love. I am Callum, who falls in love at least twice a day. And bolt forward to confront this flappy demon with my sword. Chrys, are you there? We lost your video.
Yeah, I'm here. One
Okay.
second.
Good.
I'm just gonna find the die roller.
Find the die roller, roll the die. That classic die song, everybody.
It's bad. That is a 5. So
Ooh.
Rip a roost,
Ooh.
Benny.
5
Even-
bolt.
Even with your +1,
yes,
huh?
stumble or fall short. Prepare for the worst.
Okay. Okay. Right. So you're trying to run off in the direction that Sai was pointing you to?
I'm trying to
Did I
surge
understand?
ahead of Sai and
Okay. You are yeah, I think you can see a bit of moonlight shining from above, out of a through a hole in the ceiling, some ways ahead of you, and you get you're trying to surge ahead and run toward it, and you're running so fast you don't notice a depression in the ground and just trip and fall flat into it. And you break several of your obsidian bones.
No.
And,
Not the obsidian bones.
break mine instead.
it would be
and-
hard to get out with the obsidian bones if I broke my own, I suppose.
Yeah. How many wounds do you have marked?
I have none marked.
Okay, well then you're definitely going to take a wound from this. That really ought to be the epithet that you were invoking for this move. And there's like when one of these obsidian bones breaks, I think there's a little bit of extra red mist that comes out of it, circles around your prone body once or twice, and then floats off back down the tunnel whence you came, where Dumu, you can see this mist coming out of the tunnel that Sai and Calix ran down, and float off in the direction of that you hear the wings flapping coming
Excellent.
from. So yes, what do you do?
I have two choices right now. One, I have a plan that I already had. Or two, I could rewind time right now.
Oh.
For Callum specifically to have not fallen.
Right.
Also too, and not have lost those good obsidian bones. I think I'm gonna enact my move.
What was the earlier plan?
I'm gonna do that. That's what I'm gonna do.
Nice.
Okay, all right.
I'm reading my base move options because I think those are what's gonna matter. Okay. I would like to. I'm going to tell you what I want to do, and we can talk through what move, because the three core moves each could have an answer for this, and they say maybe we're going to need more than one move. I would like to collapse this tunnel. I mean, I already poked some holes in the tunnel. I'd like to collapse the tunnel. Do we feel like that is finesse? Was my initial impulse, which was like manipulating something tricky, right? Like, or overcoming an obstacle. Essentially that like this is figuring out how to collapse a tunnel without collapsing a tunnel on you feels like a tricky thing, right?
True.
It could be explore a perilous place, right? Asking questions, then doing the thing afterwards. It could be bolt because it's essentially trying to bring a bunch of earth down on these things also too. I still think finesse feels the best. Chris, do you have any guidance?
Yeah.
Finesse?
Yeah, I would do finesse.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I like
Let's
that.
do that. All right. Let us I think we're still actually, you know what? I think we are leaning on I think we're actually not leaning on who only submits to those who choose. I think it is who sees from a god's perspective. Like I think I am leaning on Igdumu to tell me the place to finesse to bring this down.
But wait, aren't all your epithets wounded?
They are.
Okay, so you're gonna be rolling with 2d6 -1 for this.
Well, so because the vessel doesn't get -1, they always
The vessel
roll,
doesn't get -1 for their miracles.
but being wounded gives you that.
Yes.
No, I'm saying for basic moves, you roll with the regular wounded value.
Oh,
which is
that's
-1.
true. You're right. Sorry, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be with -1. All right, let's see how it goes. I don't have any. I mean, like I could
This
go
will be
with
great.
I could go with a different
Or-
move, but I still think that's the best one.
Or you could go with your rewind time thing, but
Oh, well.
all right.
Send it.
It'll be fine. Do it.
All right, we've got 8 -1. So I'm at a 7. If anybody has a
Shit.
heart, and wants
Yeah,
to
I've got a
help
heart
somebody
for
else.
you.
There we go.
What was the heart you gave me, Jima?
Do what?
What was the heart you gave me?
Why did I give you
Well,
2? I have 2 heart for you.
Right. What was it though?
It is
what do you mean, like, yeah.
it is
In
based.
other words, what was the question or the
Yeah,
connect-
so it was who do you
Oh,
trust?
yeah.
It was the who do you trust one. And what do you trust them with,
Almost as much
right?
as your patron.
Yeah,
Right.
and I have trusted
And-
you with an important constellation set that has to do with the original secret. Something about the original secret, but we didn't define what it was.
The secret that Igdama hid from
The first
Bao
secret,
way
yeah.
back when. Yeah.
I don't have any hearts to give, or I would.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm going to give one.
All right.
Because
Well,
I believe
that's enough.
you just need one.
Yeah, that gets
Right?
us. That gets us glowing. Yeah, I was at 8, drop down 1. You give me the heart, that pops me back up. Cool. So the way the move reads is, on a glowing success, you get to do what you wanted, with no one the wiser. I mean, I think people are going to be the wiser. I mean, maybe you two
Pretty
won't know what
quickly.
happened. I just come strolling out of the tunnel. I think we would interpret that as no civic repercussions for me collapsing a
Yes.
tunnel, right? And so,
Yeah.
Yes, right. And without the Galu demon realizing what you're doing before you are able to
Gotcha.
set it off.
Yep.
So that with a spade or something else, you are able to weaken the holes that you have made in these tunnels. And I think it's not instantaneous work. It takes a few minutes, and you can hear the flapping getting louder. And then just as you're finishing the work, you see these red lights coming out of the darkness, and it's this giant thing flapping heavy stone wings through the air, and it's got these red burning coals for eyes. And as it comes into the light, the dim light in this tunnel where you can see it, you're just finishing up and are able to run away. I don't know, you tell me what this looks like.
I mean, I think there's a moment
Yeah.
where like we see my eyes twinkle, and it is like representative of that sparkle we just saw in Igdumu's eye a second ago, just a gleam of that. And like it is, I think in that moment, like they know, like, holy shit, something has gone wrong. And I think it is like it collapses in the most weirdly precise way.
Hell yeah.
Like I step back and
Awesome.
it was not so much that this would be quick, but Igduma, the spot that they had me dig into was like this will be like, this will just slam down right in front of you. And we watch this giant kind of like condensed lodestone like drop down on these things and hear them like squeeze. I think y'all hear like a slurping and then like a giant like plop, this screaming of these gallow demons, and all of a sudden it's just like quiet down the hallway. And then
Nice.
like I just kind of gently like make my way, start hobbling my fucking way out.
God bless.
That's awesome. And there's a huge cloud of dust as these blocks fall on top of the demons. And yeah, you all are all able to make it out of the tunnels safely and in your own good time.
Yay, we didn't die.
Woo. You got bones.
And we got bones.
We are richly,
So many bones. I do have a question for special moves. Should those happen in the normal phase of play and downtime? When should those happen?
The special heart move,
Yeah,
those should happen. It doesn't need to be downtime, just in a quiet moment.
just in a
So-
quiet moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
And for everyone else, these are the moves that heal all your wounds.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I've been eyeballing that. I've been checking that out.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, no. You all tell me what this looks like as you limp to safety.
I think like Duma's just kind of like taking a stroll, but like I'd like the picture being that like it's not the tunnel that we came in out of. Maybe it's just like one kind of out the outskirts of our neighborhood or something. But we emerge like a little bit bloody. My hands just kind of like dripping and weird. I'm holding it. We're all soaked from being like in the water, like up to our knees. Like mud is clinging to us as we kind of emerge from this tunnel. And I think
Yeah.
like it's just sort of a Sai looks at us and goes, okay, could have gone better, but I didn't die again. At least I don't think I did.
You are quite alive. I would be so bold as to say.
It's true.
Unless there's been some forgotten time manipulation.
Sai begins to check herself to see if there's anything like any wounds that she does not remember getting recently.
There are none.
Great. Should we find Lenu and barter with the bones that we found, or
I think we should first see if we can get 20 coin for a portion of these.
Yeah, how do you turn bone to coin? I think we figured
shit.
we did talk about this a little bit, but there's a formal someone who does actual bone coin work. I'm assuming you just mean
It's true.
sell the pretty shiny to.
ooh,
Sell part of the pretty shiny. I don't think we should sell all of it right away. I'm open to suggestions.
in my mind,
It is rather lovely.
this is Sarah speaking. Would it be possible for us to find that underground guild with the like illegal monies? That way it's still untrackable. And we exchange it for that and then use that to leverage Callum's, more secretive, gritty contacts to get Lenu out of the city.
I will say that was smugglers, and that is what.
Yeah, so they would
what their
accept that
face are.
currency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I want to say that you all come out on the edge of the Tanner's Street, like in the as Artisans District, and you can see a short ways uphill from you. There is a like a section of street, maybe 2 houses worth, but in between the houses on Tanner's Row that has just collapsed
Fuck.
underground because of the work that Dumu did to
Yeah. 100%.
But no civic casualties, no civic repercussions for having done this. It's just there may eventually be some cracks there that an enterprising demon of vengeance could claw the way out of. We'll just have to wait and see.
No, there's no way to know.
No, I have no idea who. You were with me, and it's never my fault.
You said there were no injuries though, correct?
No injuries, and certainly nobody in the city knows
Gotcha.
that you did it. Yeah, but right, no immediately apparent injuries.
Yeah. And I think we established in this part of the city that is also not a uncommon thing for all of a sudden things to just.
You're in a slightly different part of the city than you came in from.
Well, I just meant the poorer parts of the city. That is.
But yeah,
yeah, that is a thing. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think trying to sell these is great. I think Dumu is going to try to hold a memorial at the brothel for the deceased shoveler. It's just going to start spreading the word that we're gathering. However, we indicate evening for it also.
So the name of the shoveler was Igira?
One who had
Is that
passed.
what you meant? Yeah.
So we're going to do a memorial for Igira at the brothel this evening.
Okay. Remind me how we determined how people can tell when it's evening or morning?
We didn't. Here's a thing I like, though, and I was going to pitch it earlier because it plays into a thing that Sarah's wanting to have happen at some point in time. But if this is not when you want it to happen, so we have dug down. Island is like has kind of a it's called there the right word, like it's got a domey aspect to it. It would be interesting if rain, and we also know there's like waterways in because there's it's pressurized, all that kind of stuff, right? So there's got to be some sort of controlled waterway in. It would be interesting if high tide just caused water to kick over the edge, and that's what rain was also too, which would mean raining would happen almost every day, depending on the season.
I love that.
Would just be seawater also too, but would be a way to then, generally speaking, track time also too. So
yeah, I think also just the tides in general.
High tide, low tide, methodology I think would be the best.
Yeah. We know roughly a quarter of a day has passed every time the tides shift.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love that.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, you can put the word out that you're going to hold a memorial
at something
at
tide.
Second low tide.
Yeah.
Yeah, at second low tide.
At a determined interval.
At a tide that is most appropriate.
Yeah.
Good pun, Tony. Good pun.
Hey. And yeah, you can totally do that. I guess all you really have is her name.
Yeah, but I think as we move through the city, we'll invite people who knew her to come to share memories, to bring.
Oh, nice.
To bring, just remembrances. We'll do a little shrine of remembrance for them. And this is really just trying to shame the aristocrat who didn't even know her name. This seems on the up and up, but this is literally
a bit
of frustration. Also, probably just people who were found a cool thing, just took it off the body. Nobody said anything.
Nice.
But
nice.
Yeah. I also feel like it's a good way to bring in lots of community members to potentially give Callum a chance to fence any goods that they might want to.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay. Then you can arrange a memorial in a jiffy, have it happen quickly. And that's probably also a good opportunity for at least one of you to do your special heart move and heal all of everybody's wounds.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like when in a moment of peace? You, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sarah,
No,
did you want to do one?
Yeah, I have like a very specific image in mind, right? Like we've got the memorial service, and maybe like as that starts, like I think this would be very not confusing to Sai, but it would be like a strange like insight into like what may have happened when I died. And I think that kind of like puts Sai in a like pretty melancholy sort of state. And as that happens, like the moisture and like the rain starts to fall outside, and she like it's like kind of feels overwhelming. So she does in fact like step outside and light that cigarette, kind of confused at first of like how to like use it. And if like Dumu and Callum or whoever like joins her outside, I think she would ask them the question like, do you think this happened for me when I died?
I mean, we knew you in the previous life, right?
Yes, but I don't know if like you've told Sai that, or if Sai necessarily believes you. I think that it's not necessarily been, because there's like some guilt around it, right? Like Callum feels responsible somewhat, maybe not, for Sai's undoing. And I think that the impression that I got was that Dumu like thinks that they know who Sai was, and is maybe like trying to convince Sai of that, but she's like, yeah, whatever, man.
We did know each other. I had a dream that we each interpreted differently about who needed to
Yeah.
protect the other one.
Yeah.
So we
yeah.
did know each other. But I basically didn't go with you and protect you. And so
Yeah.
I have a guilt about that.
Yeah.
So I think there certainly probably would have been a memorial like this for pre-Sai.
I clear my throat and say it was not at the brothel.
Couldn't afford the brothel then.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm not. That may be the case. Not what I'm saying.
I think it's kind of like at that point, Sai looks down at the cigarette and kind of nods before she takes like a long like inhale and draw of it. And as she kind of holds it and exhales, she does cough a little bit as if unexperienced, and goes, oh, this is awful. Oh gosh. Oh no. She's gonna like
It's always taken you a long time to acquire the taste for vices.
oh, this is ugh. And she's gonna flick it out into the street. And I guess let me read what my question is. Because we all have different questions, right?
Yeah.
I think she would turn to you guys. If I die again, would you give up something of yourself just in case I come back to life? Maybe I'd remember you. I don't know. It's stupid, but maybe.
Like give Sai a token of
The
yourself?
question, the question is, ask if they will give up something about themselves. So like I guess like even if there's just like something, I don't know, like I guess in her mind it is sort of like a touchstone with them, but that could be interpreted in many ways.
I think you see Duma like reach up and touch the spot where you know the hole is, where you saw that memory of the two of you together. And he says, yes.
I am going to grant you a heart.
And Callum is taking characteristically long to answer.
I am going to say anything but the sound of singing. I'll give you that. But I do hope this time you outlive me. Sorry, I stumbled there because I was trying not to say the sound of music because, you know, we don't have
The hill alive.
a licensing budget.
Like a sleeper agent, I've been activated.
We all knew it.
Yeah, Sai will smile, and just kind of cock her head to the side a little bit, and she goes, "You know, you've never cried when you've looked at me, Callum, and I find that offensive." I'll give you a heart, but then I am gonna go inside.
I love that. I love that. And there is this memorial going on inside, and people from all over the neighborhood are there. People from the Shovelers Union or Guild, who knew Igira, and who some of them even are from wealthier neighborhoods, slightly wealthier neighborhoods, who have made a lot of money as shovelers, and they are there to remember Igira. And people from the Smugglers Guild certainly are there, and some of them are quite wealthy. And hanging around in the back of the crowd, you can see that aristocrat who you bumped into briefly before your underground adventure, who really looks like they just wandered in at the wrong time again. There is a tribute to Igura, and there is a member of the Shovelers Guild who steps up and says, a lot of people don't respect the work we do, but this is important, life-saving work. The city is constantly in danger of being drowned by the floods from outside the island, and our work redirects that water and keeps the city safe. And Igura was not a shoveler for long, but was one of the best of us. And this community leader holds up a big shovel and just breaks the shaft of it across their knee, and walks outside into the rain, where somebody else from their guild has dug a hole, and they throw the broken shovel down into it and cover the hole back up, and then everybody drinks.
Yay.
And this aristocrat comes up to you, Dumu, and says, I have an employer who wants to meet you and your friends.
Dun dun dun.
And which might be a good place to leave it.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm
it.
not
Yeah,
sure.
I love it. I think it's so good.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was gonna say, I just lean in and say, I also, you want to know a secret? I also didn't know her name, but I wasn't a dick about it. Then I rewind time. And so,
There you go.
And he's like, whose name? What?
Excellent.
What?
Let's do let's do stars and wishes for next
Yes.
time. I'll go first. I wish to mark that last fire on my fire track.
We'll get there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super fun to just ratchet up 3 real quick there also too. Yeah, Stars, it's a good game. Chrys, you did a good job.
Thank you.
All the writing. I do love like for the most part, like classic kind of like some classic PBTA things, but like you did a really great job of picking up hard moves and then bringing us back to it. Like we fell down in the tunnel to get away, and then just making sure as we came back up that was still there to deal with. Was really solid, and it's always interesting because a miss is the like it is on the keeper to make a miss interesting in a way that it's on the player to make either type of the success interesting, right? And I always love that, and they always typically read less interesting, so it's really always cool to see how different keepers dig in, and I really loved like watching that this time and coming back to that same problem, because a big part of me was like I could have when we were falling down, I was like I could reverse time right now, and this would not be happening. But
This would not be a problem.
it was fun to come back out and be like, I could reverse time right now, and this wouldn't have happened.
That was wild.
And
Yeah.
but no, I had it was a lot of fun. I loved everybody kind of leaning in to their character tropes. Richard, I loved the attitude that with which you were playing was just a very subtle shift, but there were a lot of times where I just want to be like, Richard, I know that's your epitaph, but what's Callum's? Was it Callum who was never wrong? Is that the
Never at fault.
Never at fault. And so no, it was so perfectly played without like, especially like the I don't fall, like, was such a good move, or like just the mentioning of the rubbing on the rope was like just amazingly excellent. And then like leaning into like just plummeting into the depths with us in the end also too after things went off. Sarah, I've had a super fun time getting to play off of the like I have a god friend and you are back from the dead, like that. Like it's as much fun as I had hoped it would be.
Yeah.
When you took that, and like, and again, in success or failure, like having you like be like, I'm gonna heal you, and then being
Just kidding.
just kidding, I'm just gonna infuse you with death energy instead. Was super fun, just to have those kind of little moments. But also just like it is something that not everyone is good at, playing the like the goofy, like, oh, I'm just going to do a thing. But like, you always do such a good job of advancing the narrative when you do that. And that's like, you're not doing the goofy thing and refusing to comply with the narrative. You're like, I'm doing the goofy thing, and here's how we're moving it forward. So hard. So yeah, I'll think about my actual wishes, but those are my stars.
Excellent. I'll go next. Stars is, I do love how swashbuckly Callum feels. Like he does, like in my mind, I totally picture this like very like you've through your actions have created such a clear painting in my mind of Callum, and like that this is like, it's not his fault. He's just here to experience life and beauty and like feel all his feelings. He is not here to get his boots dirty. Like I love that kind of like feeling that's emerging from the character, and I love how like ominous Dumu feels. Like the fact, the way that like Tony, when you were describing him, like there's like a twinkling of eyes, but like there's this like deep like he's not there. You know what I mean? Like there's something inhabiting him, and like the way that you described it so many times that like it made it very cool for me, who's like a person like who's trying to figure out / remember to like bounce between those two energies and be like, because a normal person would be like, this is crazy, like this is wild, but like being able to just like accept that as true and roll with it, it's like very, very fun. Chrys, I loved, like, I just kind of building on Tony's comment of like the way that the consequences stacked, right? Like it's like, okay, great, you failed, here's this consequence, it failed, here's the consequence, you've overcome one of them, the other one still remains, like, and how they kind of led into each other made it feel I like there are stakes and like we can figure it out and we can pivot and we can move, but like at the end that like we are still facing the consequences that we created from our actions, and that felt really, really good. The wish that I have, I want to have like I want like the showdown moment with the evil aristocrat, Jerky McJerkface, what is it, Barbadoo or whatever his name is?
Bardumu, yeah.
Bardumu, yeah. Like I love the idea of this like covered in blood group just like ruining his day. Like I think that would be so fun and very fulfilling to see that play out. So that's my wish.
Nice.
Yeah, my wish is to definitely get to the Divine Parade and find out who the first light falls on, and then use that to confront Bardemo as an opportunity to confront Bardemo. But like, yeah, stars, Tony, like Dumu feels so scary.
He does.
He's just a sweetheart.
But then you added the whole like phobia of holes.
He's made of holes.
He's made of holes.
Yeah. I keep trying to forget that, but then like it's like one of those weird.
He's technically made of tunnels, not holes.
I keep thinking of those weird things where like people would blend pictures of people's bodies with like lotus blossoms.
Oh, with all the holes.
Just to make it feel as creepy as fuck.
Very sorry anyone out there who has this phobia.
Good luck and Godspeed.
Because that's me, and that's it's not bad, Tony. This is just like oh shit. That's like oh shit. Like you don't let us forget that. Good. And then really big stars to Sarah for 100% just being like, I don't know my old life. Stop treating me like I'm this person who knows their old life. Because there's always this sense of like, oh, you just want to be like, oh, we remember your old life. You remember your old life. But it's not true. And Chrys, oh my gosh, the way you play with glowing and burning success. I mean, some of us didn't get to have burning successes because the dice hate us. But the glowing and burning success is so incredibly powerful here. So it's thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you bet.
Probably the best innovation on PBTA probability that I've seen in a long time. So
I mean, and all props to Apocalypse Keys by Ray and to Liberté. But yeah, it turned out to be very sword and sorcery. I'm really glad to have a mesh with this game.
Yeah.
Any wishes?
That was my first wish is we get to the Divine Parade.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Tony, do you have a wish?
Oh yeah, my big wish is Divine Parade is good. I think my big wish is I want to find a little bit more about what like Igdama's got going on with Callum over here.
Nice.
And I will say, Richard, another star, the drop of two ones. We have I don't know why you would think this is weird. We have a friend made of holes was really good. But the drop about Bartum's son also too was really, really strong. And
yeah.
Really yes, that was.
It was good.
My stars are, let's see. Tony, I've loved the wait, was this you, Tony? Hacking away at the tunnel so that the whole thing falls down around the Galu demon. That was really great. And also maybe more so the geode eyes.
Oh, that was super
for
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool. It just gave me such a, or maybe it's the inside of the head that's geode, but this idea
Yeah,
of
I think it's
the
actually
hollows
more
of the
like
eyes.
that's just how a human would interpret it. Like that's not the actual
Yeah.
reality. Like it is almost more
Interesting.
like captured because I just want to because I love to just amp up a motif. Like you
Yeah.
can't tell whether it's the sparkling of crystals or if it's or if it's starlight in the distance. Like it
Mm,
is emptiness with something twinkling inside.
it's such a beautiful image. And Sarah, I mean, I really loved how you were a shoveler when you were a shoveler, and then you just forgot everything about it, like which way you go out, and the image of you like shaking blood off, like saying, go the other way. It was
Yeah.
really great. Uh, it was just very funny. Like, I make to be clear, this looks as weird and awkward as possible. Um, and Richard, uh, I just loved you not getting in the hole because these things are not your fault, and coming to your friend's rescue later, despite all that, despite having saved yourself from disaster, it was really lovely.
I saved myself from disaster so that I can share myself with others. So
Yes, yes. If only more people understood it that way.
yeah.
And I don't have any wishes really, but I've written down the ones you all gave me that I will try to work into the next game.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Great. Sarah, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I'll do the thing. So everybody here watching now or later, make sure you go to ttrpg.link/DefyTheGods to check out Defy the Gods on Kickstarter now. You can get to see all the cool stuff that goes into making the game, and you get to pick it up before everybody else, which is pretty cool. We will be back streaming the next session of this on the 28th of this month. So come check in to see if our wishes come true. This Friday, we are back with Machine Impossible. They did the world building session last Friday. They're wrapping it up this Friday. So definitely come check that out. And as always, there's Zine Club. Go get some cool zines. Do the zine thing. We don't have an established outro, so we're just going to wave awkwardly at the camera now until we fade from view.